Hi, everybody. I'm Sandy Sandler, the creator of the Bowdabra Bow Maker, and with me is Joette Lutrick, who is our Bowdabra design team member. And we are going to show you tonight how to make some bows using the Bowdabra. And also, Joette's going to show you a really cool swag bow using the Bowdabra. So I'm going to get started with a Christmas in July bow. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the overhead camera and I'll show you here. We've got our big Bowdabra and our mini Bowdabra. The difference between the big Bowdabra and the mini is basically just the size. And what's cool about it is that there are springs underneath here. So it's going to automatically adjust to whatever we put into it, even all the stuff that Joette puts into it. So I'm going to get started using my regular Bowdabra versus my mini. I'm going to take a piece of my Bowdabra bow wire and I'm just going to fold it in half and lay this down into my Bowdabra. And I'm just going to tuck the ends underneath. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to use, this is a bow that you can make using ribbon scraps. So I've already dovetailed the ends and I'm just going to lay these down in here. And I'm going to lay this down this way. Such a pretty Christmas ribbon. And we'll lay this in here. And I have some Christmas picks, and we're just going to lay these going in. And these are just little pieces that we cut out of our Christmas bows. And hi, Wanda. And now what I'm going to do is just twist it and bring this around here and just lay that down in there. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to take the right side of it, put it down into my Bowdabra, bring it back around, take the right side, and this is a great way to use your scraps of ribbon. And again, I'm going to take the right side of my ribbon, lay it down into the Bowdabra, and I'm just going to loop this back around. And again, I'm taking the right side and putting that down. And then we're just going to scrunch everything down into my Bowdabra. We're going to make one more loop. Let's see, which is the right, this is the right side. So I'm going to take the right side down, bring it around, take the right side, and just scrunch it in. So I love this for using up scraps of ribbon. And then I'm just going to take my pick that we have here, lay that down into my Bowdabra, give everything a good scrunch, and take my Bowdabra bow wire. And the reason that I folded it in half is now I have a slip knot. So I'm just going to pull the wire through my slip knot, pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra, pull it out of the Bowdabra. I'm going to separate my ends, bring it around to the back, and I'm just going to tie a knot. And this makes a really pretty like Christmas tree bow because we're just finishing up our Christmas in July theme. And I believe that the swag that Joette's going to make is sort of a transition from summer to fall bow. So she's already getting into like the August mode. And you can see how absolutely pretty and super simple this was to make. So we'll go back over here and I want to say thanks everybody for your comments. I'm going to put this over and now we're going to send the camera over to Joette and
That's
she's
beautiful,
going to make the
Sandy.
swag. Thank you, Joette.
That would be a great gift wrap present or bow as well. So
Yeah.
what I'm doing now, I'm taking a length of Bowdabra bow wire, but I'm going to make it a little bit more lengthy than usual because I'm going to place stuff the Bowdabra, and I want to make sure I have enough wire to go around everything. So I've um, got it folded in half. I want to make sure my ends are even. Place it down in the center of the Bowdabra. That gives me a loop on one end and two loose ends to make a slip knot with. So I'm placing it down in the Bowdabra, and then I'm going to take, this can be, you can eyeball this. There's really not a measurement, but it's like a deco mesh, but it's burlap. It's what 15-inch roll or something like that of just a pretty burlap, patterned burlap, and I'm going to kind of gather it up because it's really thick, and I'm going to place it in the Bowdabra upside down and what's right side on the bottom. So it looks upside down. So, and I'm going to use the same technique that you just witnessed Sandy make to kind of, it's on my, still on my roll. I just want to kind of measure out my loops, kind of get an idea of where I want them. I see. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, cut it loose. And I'm just going to make two loops or one on each side of this. So you place, give it a good scrunch again. Gather up the ends, place them down in the Bowdabra, and then pull your ends together to where they look like they're even loops, and then you can gather the center and scrunch it down. And this makes it lay flatter when you kind of have a mountain peak in the middle, but I don't really have a perfect mountain peak because it was so big, but there's one in there. So it gives it a really pretty um, fluff, or it lays it pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and scrunch it just a little bit to help me. Make sure it's even, and you end up with a giant bow tie, basically. So I'm going to lay that down, and I've got greenery now. This is a big project, but I heard somebody wanted me to make it big, so here you go. So I've got these little mossy green branches, and I'm going to split them. This is how you can get some mileage out of your foliage and not have to, or your flowers too, and not have to use a ton of it and make something big. So I've got it parted in the, not quite in the middle. I've got a little bit more on my right side. So this facing you is going to be the top facing me, which may end up turning. This side's the top, this is the bottom. So I'm parting it again. This is more in the center, and I'm going to place this one down on that side. And this is how I'm building my base. And you can pull these separate, make them fluffier if you want them to go further. You can do that now or when you fluff at the end. And now I've got these are, who knows, probably Hobby Lobby pieces. Somebody, those showed up in my stuff, my stash. I have no idea. I've got these are hanging uh, crepe myrtles, or not crepe myrtles. Well, of course, I can't think of what they're called, but they're hanging flowers, and they're in fall colors, but I'm going to kind of lighten it up with some brighter colors in a minute. But I've got them folded a little bit so they don't slip when I tie it up. So I'm just going to kind of
I
go
just want to
back
say
and
hi to
forth.
I just want to say hi to Diane and Flor and Willette. I think it's Willette, Floritopia, and Marilyn and everybody. Thank you so much for those of you who have shared. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. All right, so I've got I've put one in regular with the curve in it, and I've already gone ahead and folded them just so the stems don't show. You can cut them shorter if you want to, but you don't have to. So now I'm taking these. There's two blooms on each one, so I'm pulling
Joette,
that one
somebody asked
bloom.
what kind of mesh that is.
There's no label on it, but it came from Hobby Lobby. It is not mesh, it's burlap, but it's like a 15-inch wide burlap, and it's got a print on it. So
Okay,
it's really pretty.
thank you.
It's not lattice print, and kind of looks like a lattice print. I'm not sure, but I have one, two, three, four of these, and I'm going to go ahead and lay this one on the opposite side. So I put a couple of them, I kind of bent it up and put one on one side of the Bowdabra, so and then one on the other. The some of them I use the stem, so they'll go different directions. I know they're hanging, but I've kind of got them where they'll wisp up out of the sides and give it more dimension. Now I've got some of these pampas grass stems. These are, you can get these all day long at the Dollar General if you have a Dollar General in your area. So I've got kind of, I bend it a little bit just to kind of give it the direction I want. Again, I can go back and fluff it when I'm done, but sometimes it's easier if you go ahead and bend it and shape it the way you want. So this is a bottom one. I do have it bent because I don't want it, I want it to catch better. So I'm gonna place that down. That rolled up for. Okay, we'll go that side. We'll roll over, and I'm gonna go ahead and give everything a good scrunch because it's starting to get full. Scrunch it down. And now I've got these Dollar Tree hanging amaranthuses, and I'm going to bend one and hang it down. And I normally hang everything down that goes down, but I'm going to go ahead and part this one. There's five, so it doesn't have to be equal, but I'm going to have some kind of wisping out of that side and some wisping out of the side on the top, but they're still going to hang. All right, so now I have these sunflowers that I've chopped up from a Dollar General bush, and I'm folding the ends, laying these down, and I'm putting my longer ones in the bottom, and I'll put my shorter ones up at the top. There was five total in this bunch or in this bush that I cut up, and just lay these in here. You don't have to bend the top ones because they'll usually stay. It's the gravity. You don't want something slipping down. So I've got some of our 2.5 inch wide Bowdabra burlap. It's wired, it's beautiful, and it's so fun to work with. It's thick. So I'm going to find, there's my wires. So I'm going to put it in upside down. So I'm going to scrunch. And these are going to be kind of, whoop, there's these are going to be, it's a funky bow, but the tails aren't going to be the same length. So I'm going to push that shorter one to the top and pull my longer tail to the bottom. And
For
there's my
those of you who
first
are
loop. So
just joining us, I'm just going to interrupt Joette. For those of you who are just joining us, I just want to let you know that Joette is doing all this in the Bowdabra, but she's got so much stuff in there you can't even see the Bowdabra.
it's down there. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the opposite side for my loop. So I'm going to twist this so that my wrong side is facing up, make a loop, and I'm going to scrunch that in there, and there will be my shorter tail. I'm going to put it towards the top, and then again my longer tail at the bottom. And there's not a whole lot of ribbon for this bow, but I wanted the flowers are the focal point. You don't even need a bow for some of these because you can just pull the flowers over that area, but of course this burlap makes it, and I'm trying to make a transitional. Let's see, which one did I leave up on the side? Okay, so switch to this side. I'm making a summer transitional fall wreath that you could leave up throughout summer and fall because people take down fall early and start putting up their Halloween, and fall gets left out, and then it switches to Christmas now, and Thanksgiving gets overlooked. So we're going to do the last loop and going to make sure that the wire doesn't show. So I'm going to flip that. There's my loop. I'm going to the other side. I'm going to twist that so that my wire is on the bottom, and bring this back over and bring the longer tail down. So my loops are somewhat even. They don't have to be perfect, and neither do my tails, but I have the longer tails all going down, and I got a few up here. So I don't need any more loops because those are actually simulating the ribbon
And
and
if
filling in
you
the
if
voids.
you if you're intimidated by everything that she puts in, that this can be done in two pieces, which might be a little easier for most people to do.
Yeah, I didn't do it in two pieces this time because I'm going to add in some more flowers. So I have this little, it's a hydrangea pick, and I've got it folded. I'm going to place that in, and then I've got these leaves fall off my bushes all the time, and I save them. So I'm using them to hide my mechanics. So I'm just placing the two leaves down here, and I could scrunch it now, but it's in there. It's not going to go any tighter. So I'm going to leave it alone, and then I'm going to pull out my looped in. And you want to pull it directly across to the center. And I've got, this is huge. I'm going to pull my loose ends. Here they are, out from under, and pull them straight up. You don't want any, you want full clearance. Just go straight through the Bowdabra. If there's any foliage in the way, it'll keep you from getting a nice tight knot. So make sure you're clear, because this is the key to not having to use hot glue by getting your wire tight. Everything goes tight. Pull it tight while it's in the Bowdabra, And you can remove it, scoot that aside, keep pulling it tight, separate your wires, and find the same way you came through, go back that way, and then meet it in the back. Pull it tight again. Keep pulling it tight. Don't break it. It's going to be hard to break it, so but don't pull it that tight that it starts to break. Give it a good twist so nothing slips, and then tie it in a knot. Now you could tie this onto a giant wreath right now. This could be a wreath attachment if you wanted it to be. Um, you can actually make this into a hanger to hang it on a door or to tie it onto the wreath. So I just kind of leave my wires on the back. Now you can flip it over and give it a fluff. So we want to pull our tails and our loops out and give them a fluff and make sure all of our flowers are showing and everything's got a place and nothing's hiding. So I've got these pampas grass pieces. I want to make sure that they're not hiding because you don't want to waste your money, spend money on a beautiful floral and then it's hiding in there. And I don't know if it's fluffed or not, but I'm going to, it kind of basically fluffs itself as you make it. But I'm going to flip it around and let you see it. When you end up with this giant door swag. I don't think I can get it all in the camera, but so easy to make. And we just made this huge thing in just a few minutes, and it didn't cost very much to make.
It's
So
really pretty. Joanne, are you going to make
thank you.
the other one that you have out of the scraps of ribbon?
I sure will. Let me get this over here. And it's I've pre-cut and pre-dovetailed some pieces of ribbon. There's some are flat, some are not dovetailed, some are just straight because it's not a pattern ribbon, but it's kind of a glitter knit. I don't know. It's really pretty. I forgot what that ribbon's called, but it's one of my favorite ones that we have at Bowdabra.com. I love using it in the center of bows, and it adds a extra elegant touch. Comes in different colors. So I'm going to cut another length of Bowdabra bow wire. And I can turn this into a funky bow, or I can do that one-sided bow. And this is perfect for gift wrapping. And I think it's the perfect bow for a beginner. That's going to be total opposite of what I just did in size. But so what I'm doing is I'm going to do the funky bow loops where you have your loop turned. It's stuck in awareness ribbon. So I've got my tails turned and I'm going to place that in. And I think I will go ahead and do the one-sided. And this is that was okay. So I'm going to do I'm not going to do as many tails on these swirly ribbon ones. So I'm going to go ahead and place that down into my Bowdabra just with the 1 inch overhang and place the dovetail back across. So I've got my loops on the same side and I'm just going to keep repeating until I get to the end. And I'm not sure. Yeah, that'll work. Wasn't sure if I had these cut long enough. So again, I'm making awareness style ribbons in my hand. You can twist and fold them in the Bowdabra as well if you can't hold them.
Why don't you show how to do it in the Bowdabra, Joette?
Okay, so I'm going to place this tail. There it is. Place this little half tail, 1 inch tail, I'm sorry, into the Bowdabra and then place this across. There's no twisting and folding on the swirly ones. So when I switch back over to this glitter one, I'm going to put the pretty side up, twist, and then bring my loop around. No twisting any, just put it straight in and scrunch it down. So you end up with loops and tails. And I've got the 1 inch overhang, place it down in there, bring this back over, make sure my ribbon's straight, and pull the tail down and make sure the loops are pretty even. And we're going to do it again. So twist where the tail is pretty side up, scrunch it down in the Bowdabra, and just bring this piece back across, fold it in, and last piece, 1 inch overhang. This way there's not too, it's got a lot of tails, but it's not going to be a whole bunch. It's not double of each. So, okay, I've got that. Just scrunch it straight down. And now we're going to tie it up. So again, you have all your loops on this side, all your tails on this side. Pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. Remove it. Keep pulling it tight. Separate your ends. And then bring them to the back side. There's not really going to be a back side, but it's going to hide right in here. It is the back side for now till we fluff it. Then it becomes hidden in the tails. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this extra wire off. We don't need the excess wire unless we're tying it onto something. So now we're going to fluff out our loops. Just kind of separate them and pull them open, especially the wired ones. And now we want to take our tails, make sure they're all going the right direction, like facing the right direction, and pull those swirlies up, glitter up, and then you end up with this beautiful bow that it's perfect for gift wrapping. Look at that, how gorgeous.
That's really
And it's so
pretty.
simple. I think it's one of the
Really
easiest
pretty.
ones we have to make.
It
Yeah,
is.
thank
Joette,
you.
thank you so much. And we'll see you
You're
next
welcome.
week. Thanks,
Thank you.
Joette.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Whoops. Did I just do? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my mesh. I'm going to start by taking my Bowdabra bow wire. I'm going to fold it in half, and we're going to make a big door bow. And I'm just going to tuck the ends underneath, or this could also be a wreath bow. And what I'm going to do is now go to the overhead camera, so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to just roll this mesh a little bit so that we don't have anything, um, any fraying showing. And this is going to be in the center, so I'm just going to scrunch that all down in there. And I have another piece here. So what I'm going to do is unroll it. We've got this little piece rolled up there, and we're just going to scrunch everything. So I have probably altogether about 1.5 yards, but originally just cut 1 yard, and I felt like that was a little bit too small. So let's just kind of center that there. Then I'm going to take my peacock ribbon, and we've already dovetailed the ends. We're just going to lay this down into our Bowdabra. And again, this really works as a fall bow or as a Christmas and July bow. And if I did them going in opposite directions, this could actually be a really pretty centerpiece as well. So, but I'm going to have everything going down. And then I'm going to take my greenery, and we just folded them going in opposite directions. So I have this one. Actually, let's make this like it's a centerpiece. I think that'll be really pretty. And we're just going to take these here, lay this down in here. Then what I'm going to do is take another piece of my peacock ribbon, and we're just going to make a regular bow. So it's a fold and twist bow. So I have about 1 inch on this side. I'm going to twist it, fold it back over, and I'm just going to twist. And we're just going to make big loops here. So I'm going to fold and twist. And we're just going to fold and twist. And what I love is with the Bowdabra, you can put all of this different material in. Oh, looks like my ribbon's getting caught. And we're just going to fold and twist because the springs allow it to hold. So we're going to fold back over and twist. And we're going to fold and twist and fold and twist. And this is about as much stuff as I like to put in the Bowdabra. Joette likes to put a lot more in than I do, but I feel more comfortable when I have different pieces, but it's not as full as it is when you put like a ton of stuff in. And it's a little bit easier to handle it, especially for a beginner or somebody that hasn't used the Bowdabra much. So now I'm just going to scrunch that down. Now remember, I folded my Bowdabra bow wire in half. So now when I bring it back over, I have a loop on one side and my two ends. I'm going to pull the two ends through my loop or my slip knot, pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. And there is like inside the wire, there's actually a nylon cord and steel. So that's what makes it very, very strong. So now I'm going to just separate my ends, bring them around to the back. We're going to tie a knot and tie another knot. And actually, I'm going to put one more knot on here for good measure. And now what I'm going to do is because we're going to make this like a centerpiece. So now I'm going to just take my loops and shape them out. And this could be really pretty, even for like a Thanksgiving centerpiece. You can see how pretty this came out. So super, super simple to make. So we're going to take this, let's do this. I mean, you can keep fluffing forever, but I'm going to stop fluffing. I'm going to take this and put this aside. And now let's do, oh, I know, this isn't quite as, well, let's do this one next. So I'm going to take a piece of my silver Bowdabra bow wire, and I'm going to grab my scissors. When I do a big project, I always lose everything. And again, I'm going to fold my Bowdabra bow wire in half, lay it down into the Bowdabra, and just tuck the ends underneath so they stay out of my way. And now what I'm going to do is take my pick and lay that in. Then I'm going to take, I've got a couple tails. We'll go this way and this way here. Just adds the white, I just think adds like a delicate base. And now I'm going to take my blue, because it's like a kind of a blue-green. And this I think would be pretty, really pretty for Christmas, but also really pretty for wedding, like for a wedding gift with this pick. And like Joette was saying, we save all of our picks, pieces of picks, because we can always use them in a bow. And just lay that down there. Then I'm going to take my white, and we're just going to, now this is the same on both sides, but I am going to twist it because I think it'll shape a little bit better. And we're just going to fold and twist and fold and twist. So that's just the basic technique for making a bow and Bowdabra is fold, twist it 180 degrees, come back over and fold and twist. Whoops, got stuck in my pick. And we're going to fold and twist and fold and twist. Thank you, Joette. Yeah, it really is an elegant bow, which is why I think of it as, for Christmas or also for wedding. And I'm going to just take my Bowdabra wand, scrunch everything down. Then I'm going to grab my Bowdabra bow wire, pull that back up here. Whoops, got to grab the other piece. Pull it through my slip knot or the loop. Pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. I'm going to pull it out. Then I'm just going to separate my ends, bring it around to the back, and we're going to tie a knot. And this could even, it could even be a wreath bow on a pretty wreath. So there's so many ways. That's what I love about the stuff that we create using the Bowdabra, is you can use it for so many different projects. And all I'm doing is these are both wired ribbons. So I'm just kind of putting my fingers in the loops and bringing these around here. And you can see how pretty this comes out. And it's so super simple. Let's put that up to the camera. And so it was so super simple to make. And we just used basically scraps of ribbon, a little bit. I probably have about a yard and a half here, probably about a yard of this ribbon, and then our pick that we recycled. So it's really super simple to make. And it makes a great, it could look really pretty on a wreath, or it makes a great wedding bow or gift wrap topper. So I want to thank everybody so much. God, the time went by so fast. I can't even believe it. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me and Joette on tonight's live. And we'll look forward to seeing you next Monday. So thanks, everybody. Bye.